ribonucleic acid freak out. The power of prayer. Yes, sir. Or madam. This is the Metal Hammer of Doom. I am your host, the mandated reporter, and frankly I'm mortified, Mr. Mark Radulich. Tonight we're doing something a little bit different. Normally we review albums on this podcast, albums that have come out within the last month or so, usually. But tonight, we're taking the time to review a concert. Because in the time of chimpanzees, I was a monkey. Also, in the time of pandemics, artists have taken to the internet to do virtual concerts. They stream from their practice spaces or wherever they may be in time, and they play for you a concert. Clutch has done this twice now. We're going to review the second outing. Clutch presents Live from the Doom Saloon Volume 2. And, of course, I couldn't do this alone. I'm a huge Clutch fan, but he might be a little bit better than me. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Jesse Starcher. How do you do, sir?
No Huey? No news? No thanks. Mark, this was a lot of fun, man. You got to watch the first one, right?
No, I haven't. This second one's the first time I've done this.
Oh, I thought you got to see the first one. Maybe that was. I know my cousin did, and I sent him the link for this. I don't know if he got a chance to watch the second one or not, but well, yeah. So this was my first experience with a virtual concert, and no better way to do that than with Clutch. So I'm glad that I had the chance to sit and watch it. And man, me and you I came this close to calling you and doing a stream, like live stream, but I knew that something wrong with technology would happen. Like your feed would be 2 seconds faster than mine, and it would probably mar both of our experiences. So instead, we just chatted back and forth.
You would have gotten a lot of me asking my daughter, "What's wrong? Why do you look so sad?"
That would have been what I was asking my wife at the same time. What's going on, Mindy? Why can't you enjoy this?
I made my kids. We had Russian food. My kids had McDonald's. That's usually the way that goes, and we watched the show as a family. When the Dropkick Murphys did their St. Patty's Day show,
oh, okay, yeah,
it was the same thing. That was like week one of the pandemic. And we were like, yeah, we're going to enjoy this virtual show as a family on the couch, and we're going to rock out. I bought myself and my daughter the T-shirts, and my son was into having a family experience. He was nuts. I mean, he didn't get what we were doing for a while, and him being 5-6 years old, like, okay, I get it. You're a kid. You don't get it. My daughter, she got into the music after a while. My wife and I were a little disappointed that they just played mostly stuff from their new album, which is what would have happened if we had gone to see them live, right? If they had been, if the tour had come down to Florida and we saw them, we'd have gotten the same show. We were kind of hoping for some older Dropkick Murphy stuff, but the point is, we are I've never seen Clutch do it, but I've seen a couple of these virtual shows now, not the least of which was the Dropkick Murphys. Had you done one before this?
Done a virtual concert?
Correct.
No, this is my first ever virtual concert.
Okay. Did you make your family watch like I made my family watch?
Mindy hung out with me because she enjoys Clutch. We've talked about our fandom, and I got into it when I got into Clutch when I was like my first year of college. So my wife, by proxy, had to experience Clutch along with me.
And I think your wife likes the burly men like my wife does, so she digs Neil Fallon.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Them beautiful blue eyes. Oh, she couldn't get enough of those. But yeah, she knows the band. She's heard me play them over and over in the car, at the house, and whenever a new album dropped. So Mindy was there. Caleb hung out with us most of the concert. Colton was busy playing Roblox. I wasn't about to try and rip him from that world. And Kira, she hung out in the back in her bedroom, so she didn't come out but once just to see what was going on and why I was yelling so much.
Okay. I'd have made them all sit and watch the show. Like, give me your screens.
Sit down. Yep. Give me your phones.
You're going to watch this damn show, and then I want a 50-page essay on it. So this concert was a little different than the last one. They held a contest.
Yes, they did.
That contest was you submit your own 14-song set list, and the winner will get a prize package, and they'll play that set list on the second concert. I submitted like 3.
You did?
Because I messed up ones and just didn't bother to look at the first set list. So like half of what I chose for my first entry was on the first show, and I'm like, oh well, this is dumb. I need to fix it. So I said,
now see, the thing is I went through and I saw the one that you created, and that's the only one I've been paying attention to. So the stats that we have tonight, while we roll through these songs, yes, there are stats. While we roll through these songs, I'm comparing your first playlist to my playlist.
Oh, the one that's got like half of the ones from the first show? Good.
Yeah, but there are a couple that you chose that were on this playlist, this set list. So, yeah, you made 3. Okay, well, I'm only privy to 1, sir.
Okay. The second one I made, I wasn't sure if it took or not, so I ended up making a third one.
Okay.
But we were not the winners. Now, Jesse, this is why I have you here on the Radulich Broadcasting Network. You do the work.
Oh.
You sought out the winner of this contest, and you actually chatted with him. You have notes about his playlist. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so we got a hold of Marshall Snyder. He was the winner of this contest, and the set list that we listened to
it's
while
another
we
awkward guitar change, Marshall.
Yeah, way to go, Marshall. I thought, well, you know what? It'd be cool to kind of get his thoughts on how he came up with the set list, at least to see if there was any rhyme or reason, or if he Mark Raduliched it and said, I like this one, I like this one, I like this one, please play them right now. And so, yeah, as we go through the songs tonight, as we play this set list, I've got some comments from him. One of the things that we first, I guess let's do this. Let me ask you, what you went into the third playlist. What was your strategy when you were making that third playlist? Obviously, the first thing was not to pick anything from Doom Saloon 1, I assume, right?
All right, let's go through it, right? So I'm looking at my first one, Live from the Doom Saloon 2 is what I called this playlist. And this is literally like me not paying attention to shit.
This is the one that I've got the stats on, so go ahead.
So every Clutch concert has to start with Who Wants to Rock, right?
That's right.
And because I don't think they play enough from this album, I went right into Pure Rock Fury, because I'm apparently a dumb shit. I've been to a lot of Clutch shows, and and the Elephant Riders, like if they play like a lot of new stuff first and doesn't really get people moving, like if they want a mosh pit to start out, either the Elephant Riders or the Soap Makers will get the party going.
Yep.
In Walks Barbarella might be my favorite Clutch song of all time now.
We need, like I said, a brass influenced, like all they have to do is like pick 14 songs, just kind of like what they did here, and just do a brass, version, a brass section version of those songs, because In Walks Barbarella is, it's up there on my list. Probably top 10 for me as well.
I've said that if I could, if I could have like a Jerry, not Jerry's Kid, but like Make a Wish, if I could make a wish, and because of they granting me a wish on my deathbed, it would be for Clutch to do an Evening with Clutch show. I've talked about the Evening with Clutch shows. This was years ago. This was around Pure Rock Fury, as I recall, and they did 2 sets. They opened with the Bakerton Group, which is Clutch minus Neil.
That's right.
That's all instrumental. And they did the first set, then they took an intermission, and then they came out and did the second set. And these were like 20-song sets.
Oh, man.
Yeah. It
was
incredible. They played everything. And what I've always wanted was for Clutch to do another show like that. Just do one, like, Access TV televised or pay-per-view internet-provided show. And it's Clutch, an Evening with Clutch live from the Grand Ole Opry.
Oh,
I want to see it down in that theater in Tennessee, Nashville, Jesse.
Nashville, Tennessee.
Nashville, Tennessee. I want them to play 2 20-song sets in Nashville, Tennessee, live for the world to see.
The awesome, fantastic.
So, and I want them to have like the full brass section and the harmonica, the organ, everything.
Oh, everything. Every extra instrument that you can find that these guys have put into their songs. Please
I want
do.
Christopher walking on a cowbell. I want it all. I picked Ghoul Wrangler, which ended up on this set.
Yes, sir. Ghoul Wrangler and a great song.
And then I was like, I know Clutch. I know they're going to want to play new stuff, so I grabbed X-Ray Visions and Noble Savage from Psychic Warfare. I have the Noble Savage t-shirt.
I do not give enough love to Noble Savage, because when I was going through this playlist of yours, because, you can't get enough Clutch in your life, so I was listening to your playlist and my playlist and your playlist and my playlist. But Noble Savage is one that I definitely don't give enough love to, and it is a rockin' tune.
Yes. Like I said, I have the t-shirt of it, so I got to give it some love. DC Sound Tech, my second favorite Clutch song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to industrialize you.
Yes. And then King of Arizona doesn't get a lot of play. Of course, it got play on the second album, on the second playlist.
Dude, such a great song. And it didn't make my list specifically because I was like, I don't know. I didn't know if I had a strategy of like, maybe they're not going to have all those. I had no idea what the first one entailed. I know it had In Walks Barbarella, but I doubt that they had, the brass section going in their little place that they were performing. So same thing, it's just a harmonica, but regardless, I kind of left it off of it. But King of Arizona is a great song.
Next one is one I've never really heard them play a lot of. It's Guild of Mute Assassins.
Yeah, and okay, if I'm going to critique your playlist, sir, okay, Guild of Mute Assassins, why?
We're done with this show because you're a ridiculous human being.
I'm not saying that it's a horrible song. I'm just saying of all the Clutch songs to throw on a set list, explain to me why you like Guild of
It's one of my favorites, number one. It's an amazing song from this era of Clutch, and I never hear them play it. And so it was like, Clutch turns to Mark Radulich and says, what do you want to hear us play? I'm like, fucking Guild of Mute Assassins, dude. What the fuck? Why are we... What?
We don't even have this conversation. We don't even need to have it.
No, I'm at the ready with the Guild of Mute Assassins.
Okay, all right then.
Another one I've never heard them play, which then they fucking made the list, man. Because there's a lot. This is a lot of people out there. Mr. Marshall, you sir, nice taste. What would a Wookiee do?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
yes,
that's
sir.
such a groovy song.
Oh, dude, it's Pitchfork and Lost Needles.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting that CD, but I actually got the White Pitchfork album when it was released in '99. I think I ordered it off the internet, and it's just a white CD, and that of course just had Arcadia, Far Country, all that on it. But when Lost Needles came out and had What Would a Wookiee Do along with those songs, I had to get it.
Yeah,
because I loved that song.
There was a long period of time where I was just yelling bottoms up Socrates at people.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
All right, and then for the last three, because we got to go old school, we got to go how far back? Way, way back. We got to do a Shogun named Marcus, right?
Yes,
that was the one
sir.
that got all the kids into Clutch back in the day.
Yeah, that made my playlist as well. When you look at and compare both of our playlists, there are just one song that made both of our set lists, and that is Shogun named Marcus.
I don't think I've heard them play Walking in the Great Shining Path of Monster Trucks, because there's no such thing as beginner's luck.
That's right, there isn't.
Like, since the second Clutch album, since that tour.
Oh, wow.
And I have been to see a lot of Clutch shows, and I don't ever remember them playing this. If I could have had another pick, it would have been Rats. It would have been, I like that whole album, though. They Call Me El Jefe.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. There's so many good tracks off of Transnational Speedway, and I never get to hear those old songs. Like, they'll play a Shogun named Marcus to get the mosh pit going, but that's about it. Like, I never hear him play Rats. I never hear him play Monster Trucks. I never hear him play El Jefe. Like,
didn't
what the
you
fuck?
say? Yeah, and your last song.
Oh, we need to talk about this.
Yeah.
Because maybe now Marshall's like best friends with Neil Fallon. Like when the pandemic's over, they're gonna have quiche and beer.
Crab cakes.
Crab. Yeah, right. Neil Fallon might invite him over for crab cakes and beer, right?
That's right.
And so the rumor among the Clutch fans is that Clutch categorically refuses to play Binge and Purge. This is bullshit to me. Play that fucking music, white boys.
Yeah, I remember when you disclosed that to me, oh man, how many years ago back when we were talking Clutch. And I didn't know that. But I think I could understand why. I mean, it is a heavy, emotionally charged.
It encourages people to kick the living shit out of each other, I think is the problem.
A lot of moshing going on.
Yeah, I mean, and not just moshing. I mean, like straight up fucking, waffle maker to the face. You know what a waffle maker is, right?
A waffle maker?
Yeah.
Like an actual one, or is it a? So you got a haymaker and then you got a waffle maker.
Yeah, it's the bottom of your boot.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
It's called a waffle maker. Waffle maker kicking through the shins. You'd know that if you listen to more NoFX.
Too busy listening to other stuff, Mark. I'm sorry.
Listening to fucking Glory Hole or whatever it's called.
Glory Hole.
Glory Hammer. Sorry.
Son of a bitch.
So anyway, yeah. So the last song is Binge and Purge, and I need it. I want it. I gotta have it.
Yeah. Now, of what you just listed here, did you have a strategy on that first one at all, or were you just like? Because I noticed you got stuff grouped pretty closely by albums, like Transnational makes up the last three.
That's the only I was doing it on my phone, and so it was easier for me to just do things by album.
Well, and here's the thing. I was looking, but I didn't see them specifically say, hey, we're going to play it in the order that you want it to be. So if they mixed them up or something like that, that's what I thought maybe they would do. You just want to show what 14 songs do you want to hear from these guys? Right. And boom, there you go. So although I think what they did was they actually went via set list and what you put on there. So if he was to pick yours, this I think would have been the order it would have been in. Mm-hmm.
And it was the first half of it was, what do I want to hear? If I'm designing a set list, how do I want it to go? So I want Who Wants to Rock into Pure Rock Fury into Elephant Riders into In Walks Barbarella. And then after that I was like, well, since I'm on Book of Bad Decisions, Ghoul Wrangler, hot off the grill. Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, all right, I got to pick something from Psychic Warfare. I'm like, I can't forget about DC's Sound Attack.
There's so many great songs to pick from, too. And I noticed myself when I was doing mine, I was like, I don't want to leave this album out. I got to have something.
If I picked every Clutch song I ever wanted to hear in a concert, the set list, first of all, would be 50 songs long.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
So real quick, when I fucking remembered, okay, no, this is yours, right? This is the one that starts off with Who Wants to Rock into How to Shake Hands into Texan Book of the Dead.
Yes, that's mine.
Okay, that's yours.
I'm just going to click on your name and see.
I must have deleted the other two then.
Oh, okay.
Because I have yours. Just going through my playlist now. I have yours, and then I have the first Doom Saloon, and then I have this one from the Poland Rock Festival. Yeah, they're putting up their set list they would have played for concerts that they couldn't do because of COVID. Then the Rambling Man, which is a really interesting one. Have you heard of this Rambling Man show they were going to do?
Did you share this one with me?
I don't know, but it starts off with the Regulator acoustic, and one of my favorite remakes of their own material, the acoustic Tight Like That.
Oh my gosh.
Hard as a rock every time I hear it.
After I made my playlist, I remember going, oh crap, that I should have went acoustic on one, and that would have been the one I picked.
Oh yeah. Dude, the acoustic Tight Like That is the sound of wonderfulness.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and then I have Doom Saloon Volume 2. So yeah, I must have deleted the other two, or never made, or created them, and then I think that was the problem. On my phone, it wasn't connecting to Spotify. So like I think I hand wrote one. I hand wrote the first one, and I just made it myself, and that's why it's still on my playlist list. But like the other two that I submitted after that never launched to Spotify. So who knows? They might not have gotten any entries from me.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, I tell you what, if you want to,
yes, sir.
We'll go ahead and we'll get into the music, and we'll do 4 medley. We'll stop, and then I'll kind of talk a little bit about my playlist and what Marshall has to say.
We're not going to play "We Need Some Money" unless Clutch did it live, which that would also be on my set list. They're playing "We Need Some Money." We don't need to. You guys go check out the Chuck Brown and the Soul whatever. It's fine. Chuck and the Soul Searchers. Chuck Brown and the Soul Searchers. Check them out. They're great. I'm not playing "We Need Some Money."
Now you're looking at the. I want to make sure you're looking at the right playlist.
Doom Saloon Volume 2.
Oh, yeah. I guess I did put that on there. My bad.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, don't play that.
No. But I will play the first 4 tracks, all right?
All right, I'm ready.
And the first 4 tracks on this Clutch set list are How to Shake Hands, Power Player, Rock and Roll Outlaw, and Oh My God, For Country.
Time.
I forgot how much Far Country jams.
My favorite off of Pitchfork.
Craziness.
That which does not kill you makes you stronger. It's a good one, man.
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan. So
The two pilots. All right. So tell us about Marshall and go on. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I reached out to him and I said, okay, give us an idea. What went into your thoughts on the playlist? And I knew me and you, after all things were said and done, judging by both of our first playlists, we had made a couple critical mistakes. Number one being...
Well, I don't make mistakes, but...
Sure. Yours is the perfect set list.
I mean, ever, and regardless.
Number one was we did not take a look at Volume 1 to determine whether we should have them replay those songs or not on Volume 2.
Yeah, that I legitimately was like, oh, I'm a doofus and don't deserve to win this.
Oh, I was right there with you, man, because I lucked out and only had one song off of that first volume in my set list, and that was Who Wants to Rock. That's an easy one to do a repeat of. I agree. But you got to think about it. They gave us 14 songs, and we picked Who Wants to Rock, which is 30 seconds long, right. A minute long. So we probably should not.
He made good use of it with How to Shake Hands. I think that's the new Who Wants to Rock.
Yeah, he did. So what he said was he looked at Volume 1. He made sure to kind of keep away from songs on there, although he did want to put the incomparable Mr. Flannery on there. Apparently that's one of his favorites, and that would have been a repeat, but he stayed away from it. Mm-hmm. So he made a smart move.
Hang on. Let me jump in here real quick. Okay? So here's what's on the first playlist.
Yeah, let's go through it.
Other than Who Wants to Rock. Mm-hmm. I think everyone's got it now. Pure Rock Fury, Weird Times, The Soap Makers, The Regulator, Firebirds, The Incomparable Mr. Flannery, which is another great opener, by the way.
Yes, it is.
That's kind of wasted in the middle of the set. Unto the Breach, Electric Worry, everyone knows that one.
The absolutely most famous song ever by Clutch.
Yeah. Minotaur, it's a good one. One with not a lot of ballyhoo behind it, because it's on an album that nobody likes.
Minotaur, it's unfortunately the weakest Clutch album, I believe.
That's Strange Cousins from the West. Evil, and that's evil.
Is your head hurting? That's evil.
And then finally, In Walks Barbarella.
Oh, that's a way to end it right there, buddy.
Yeah. All right, you were saying.
Okay. So, looking at mine, I actually picked the opener, and I was like, holy crap, I'm doing good. First song right out the gate, How to Shake Hands, was on my playlist.
That's right, it's 100 points on the SAT right there.
That's right. You know what? My favorite part of that song when he was doing the concert was when he looked at the camera and he said he knew how to work a Zoom instead of I knew how to work a room. I was like, yes, that's good stuff. Power Player, Rock and Roll Outlaw, Far Country. All right, now Rock and Roll Outlaw, by the way, according to Setlist, Set the Set, I believe. Oh my goodness, what is the? Yeah, setlist.fm. That's where we're getting this set list from, and that's where you can submit your entries. Maybe not. But anyway, they took the set list. Here's what they said. Rock and Roll Outlaw has not been played since 2012. So that's the first time we've got to see that live since 2012. Far Country. Take a guess on the last time they played that.
Let's see. 94 is when Transnational comes out. 96.
Close. 97. It's the first time since 97.
Tell me, so I don't know Clutch.
Marshall says, because I asked him, I said, Far Country, dude. I was like, that's a hell of a pick, and for them to play that, that's some big shit, And he said he debated between many of the early Raw songs off that album, but he said he knew he had to get at least one of those on there, and he definitely thought it was cool when Neil was talking about a little bit of the history of the song. Neil mentions that was some of the first lyrics he ever wrote for Clutch.
Okay, so here's the deal. I'd have gone with Juggernaut.
Oh, that's a heavy one. So yeah, it was neat to hear Neil kind of give a little bit of background. Actually, I wanted more of that. I wanted Neil to be like, "Hey, by the way, here's a fact about that song." I wanted like that every song, every awkward guitar swap. Marshall,
I don't know. I go to the Laura Ingraham School of Concert Going, which is shut up and sing.
Yeah, your playlist shows that. So okay.
I'm sorry, I'm still scarred from Phil Anselmo, and whatever band, not
The Appliances?
not Phil Anselmo and the Appliances, the one before that, not Down. It's in between Down and Phil Anselmo and the Appliances.
Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah.
Oh, I cannot remember what it's called.
Yeah, Superjoint Ritual.
There we go. I knew it was something weird.
That whole show where he talked longer than his songs were.
Did he talk about like the history of the stuff, or was
a lot
it
of
politics?
It was, thank you for coming out. We're the hardest band in America. I smoke a lot of dope.
Woo! Yeah.
It's just like I don't mind the occasional everyone needs to take. Look, I've tried playing guitar. When you really got to work up those calluses, it hurts your hands. Drumming. You ever see a drummer at the end of a show? They're just a bag of sweat.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So I get it. They all need breaks, and so that's why they tell stories. So great, tell a story. Maybe every fifth song.
Okay. Well,
or 10.
So my first four, I had, like we said, Who Wants to Rock, How to Shake Hands, then I had Texan Book of the Dead, and then Son of Virginia. So, Mark, I don't know if I told you online, but here was my strategy going into this, and we'll just talk about the first four songs.
I think intrinsically our set lists show people the differences between me and you in terms of music appreciation. I like it thrashy. I like it hard and heavy and fast. Son of Virginia is a great example of you don't need it to be going 1,000 miles an hour, and it's kind of just mellow.
Okay, to be honest, my thought going into this was I was thinking of the band, and honestly,
oh, you gave a shit. Got it. Okay.
honestly, I really didn't need to give that much of a shit because this was only. If you look at the time our songs are, it's about an hour, and I'm sure it went about an hour, 20 minutes, hour and a half. But I was like, okay, we're going to try and model this like a concert. We're going to hit them hard initially, and then we're going to kind of slow it down.
Right. And
I was only going to throw in 2 songs that were going to slow it down. And I'm not, and I've stated this on this podcast before, I am not a fan of Clutch's slower stuff. The Regulator's okay. I believe it's overplayed, but I'm just not a fan. You throw any slower Clutch song at me, Son of Virginia is the one that I'm going to pick. 9 times out of 10 is what I would listen to. Mm-hmm. I like Son of Virginia because the story itself that they're telling in the song is just weird and wacky, but it's slower and it's something that I can handle.
Right. And Metallica doesn't play 2 hours of Whiplash.
You ain't going to be able to survive that. That's just, it's physics, folks. It's just the way biology works. That's just the way biology works.
Do we have anything else from Marshall here?
No, not on that. We talked about Far Country. We talked about what went into his picking. Let's listen to the next 4. I've got a few more comments from him after that.
All right, so the next 4 are Smoke Banshee, What Would a Wookiee Do, which I almost jumped through my television.
It was so funny because I yelled out, "Oh shit!"
Right,
and because I knew as soon as I heard it, and I knew it was on your set list, and I was like, "This is," and then Caleb gave me a mean look, like I'm not supposed to cuss during.
I think I typed "all shit" to you, and then proceeded to start a mosh pit. I started a mosh pit in my living room. I was knocking over knickknacks.
Bow, 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 bow.
All right, so we got Smoke Banshee, What Would a Wookiee Do, Mice and Gods, and Prophets of Doom. All right, so here we go.
All right.
Boop, 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 boop.
copy magazines, but honestly speaking, now we all got the same disease. I'm afraid the party's canceled, the summits never show. But I don't always pay, so I must forward a note. Force getting ready, let me get too much. All the woman suffer, the wicked, wicked clutch.
So let me tell you about Robot Hive Exodus.
Yeah.
That was one where, like, half of it, when it first came out, I adored, and I was, like, raving. But I was working in Miami at the time, and like my best buddy down there was a Peruvian gal who thinks Neil Fallon's voice is phony. Like, she thinks he's like, doing a phony voice. It's, like, the one thing I remember about her. Other than she was hot. But I think, like, in the beginning, you know, Burning Beard, Gullah, Mice and Gods, like, I wasn't into the first half of the album as much. And I remember, like, Burning Beard, yeah, I know. And I remember Burning Beard got the big play back then. That got the video, right? I think Mice and Gods was the other one. But I was more into, like, Never Be Moved, 1000, 1111, Alpha Beta, Small Upsetters, you know, 10,000 Witnesses. Like,
10,000 Witnesses is a good one.
You know, I was digging that second half of the album that was more gospel sounding.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I know exactly where you're going with that. The 10,000 Witnesses being, like, Exhibit A for me when it comes to the gospel.
Yeah.
I really do. I really like Robot Hive Exodus. I think that if you're going to make me sit down and rank the albums, this isn't number one, but I think this is probably top 5 for me.
I've come to appreciate the album in totem over the years, and like I said, like now I can go back to it, and I'm like, oh, I love the incomparable Mr. Flannery. Yep. I think it's great. I can tolerate Burning Beard, Gullah. Mice and Gods is good. Pulaski Skyway is good. And then you get to the shit that I really like, that I've never not liked. You know, I was like, so those first 5 songs, which took me a long time to kind of really warm up to, now as I've gotten older, I'm like, the whole album is just rock solid.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember listening to it when it first came out, just going, man, I mean, I've never experienced a band that can continually just put good stuff out. That's why I'm such a fan of these guys. Mm-hmm. Like, we give Strange Cousins from the West a hard time, but there's if you listen to the album, if you listen to that album, it's just not as good as the other ones.
Here's the thing: every Clutch album stands out.
Yes.
You know, the Book of Bad Decisions and Psychic Warfare are like back to like the pure rock fury, them just balls out era. Mm-hmm. You know, because after pure rock fury, that's when they kind of changed a little bit, and that's when they started doing a lot more funk, a lot more experimental in their music, and so you get Blast Tyrant, which is way different than anything they'd done before. Like they started becoming like less of a hardcore band and more of, we're just going to play whatever the fuck style we want to play.
Yeah, if it's blues, great. You
right.
know, if it's hard rock, great. If it's if it's got those influences, it's all a beautiful buffet, in my opinion. So that's the Clutch buffet. So
you go from like Blast Tyrant to, I think Robot Hive Exodus followed that, and then you have from Beale Street to Oblivion, and then it's like you had 3 rock solid albums of them just doing weird shit. And then Strange Cousins from the West comes out, and this is like, oh, this is a bland Clutch album. Like, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just, it's kind of like Slayer. You know, Slayer puts out an album, and it's like, well, that sounds like a Slayer album. They've done nothing different. You know, Strange Cousins from the West was like an amalgamation of what the last 4 or 5 albums sounded like, minus anything interesting.
Yeah, there wasn't any. And Minotaur, that gets a lot of play. I don't know if that's my favorite song off that album either. There's a couple other songs that might be. Minotaur's probably
I think, like,
top 3.
Freakonomics gets play.
50,000 Unstoppable Watts was the.
That was the big one.
That was the big one. Witch Doctor, I know that one. Slee Stack Lightning's a fun one to listen to, but I mean, it's you're right. Bland's probably the word, but either way, you know, the good thing is, did we get any Strange Cousins from the West off of that in this playlist? I don't think so.
No, no. From his 4, I started with talking about Robot Hive Exodus and how wonderful it is because it's like it's off the beaten path. You know, they threw gospel into the mix and like wow, and then. Because I talked about how wonderful an album is, I had to bring up how bad another album is. This has nothing to do with anything else we're talking about. So we got Smoke Banshee, What Would a Wookiee Do, Mice and Gods, and Prophets of Doom. Hit me with that. Hit me with them Marshall thoughts.
So I asked Marshall, I said, what was it like, dude, to be sitting there watching TV and hear Neil Fallon call out your name? I mean, could you imagine? Could you just imagine? Not only did Neil Fallon just call you out and say, hey, yeah, we're going to be playing all the songs that you told us to play. I mean, that's just amazing, number one. But then you got all that, you know, those prizes on top of it. The big boy amp, as Neil called it. And he got a bunch of other stuff, too. But I asked him, I said, what was it like? I said, did you have, like, family and friends around to experience this with? And he said he had, according to him, he brought a friend from down the street to play some video games who watched it with him. And he described him as gobsmacked. That's what his friend described Marshall as being. So, I mean, that's appropriate. I think I'd be in the same position. I would have been like, holy crap.
I would have not been wearing any pants.
Yeah, well, I don't think that would have changed from the beginning of the concert. But, what would a Wookiee do? Would you like to guess there, sir? When's the last time they played that?
What would a Wookiee do?
Yeah, apparently that's not been played for a while.
I was going to say never. If I had to guess, 2007.
Are you looking off of setlist.fm? Because that is exactly right, sir. 13 years ago, 2007 was the last time they played What Would a Wookiee Do? So my forward about this junction, I had the Yeti. We're bringing the Yeti in here. Burning Beard. Fortunate Son, which that right there is probably one of my favorite Clutch covers. I mean, almost
on my 2-hour my evening with Clutch. I wanted them to do a couple of covers. I wanted them to do their cover of Money.
Oh yes, got to happen.
Cross-Eyed Mary.
Oh yeah, boy, that's got to be on Spotify somewhere.
Good luck. I can't find any of the. I keep wanting to send you Roadsaw's Vehicle, but that none of those songs, unless they're on a compilation elsewhere, they're not on that. The Sucking the 70s 1 and 2 compilations are
That's
not
right.
on Spotify.
I've heard Cross-Eyed Mary before. Man, has
Yeah.
it been a long time? Probably fucking 15 years since I heard that song, that cover.
But yeah, I mean, just do an entire right before they're ready to go. Do an entire encore of Politician, Money, Cross-Eyed Mary, Fortunate Son into We Need Some Money. Just a 5-song, all covers finale.
Yeah, buddy. So my 8th song off of the playlist would have been Transnational Speedway's 12-ounce epilogue, the fun story that Neil weaves about the Cola Wars, apparently. So anyway, but yeah, there you go. Let's head into the next 4.
All right, next 4: Goo Wrangler, Hot Off the Grill, King of Arizona, The Swollen Goat, In the Wake of, and Your Love, Jesse Starcher, is Incarceration.
I hear a ruckus in the back, tall shadows on the wall. Mabel, won't you wake up? We got lawyers in the barn, yes we do. Other rumors, they're all true. Don't worry, baby, I know what to do. Many years ago, there was a case of legalese. Thankfully, my granddad handed down those ancient ways. Yes, he did. Folk magic, the real deal. Folk magic, hot off the grill. Woo! Go Wrangler! Shut 'em down! Go Wrangler! Shut 'em down! License abounded, let's get our business kinda satisfied. Go Wrangler! I sneak up to the group and see them chewing on the bones, spitting backwards, laughing at mobile phones. Yes, they were. Frothing out the mouth like rabid beasts. Diabolical to say the least. At the side of me, they bear their flashing yellow plows. Bits of old Portchester wine falling from their mouths. Yes, they were. Hackles rose, air grew chill. Folk magic, hot off the grill.
Oh, Jesse, Marshall's love is incarceration.
Incarceration. Man, screaming, re-education. Well.
As soon as you made that sound, I just had visions of Oz come up.
Okay, that does not sound pleasant.
Yeah.
Don't have much from Marshall on this one.
Well, we said that your love is incarceration, and then you made a sound.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Don't have much from Marshall on this one. I just kind of typed in here to make sure to give him another bit of hard time for awkward guitar swaps.
What did he say about that?
Nothing. I mean, I didn't ask him really. I should have. I was like, "Hey, were you crying because Neil was giving you a hard time?" I'm sure he was probably just laughing and having a heck of a time. Which, like I said, when I went into my thoughts of doing the playlist, I was like, well, my best chance of getting picked would be to make sure that this is something that these guys can do. Clearly, they had no problem. If it was a difficult,
I'm going to call bullshit
song.
on that.
Okay. I've
seen a lot of Clutch shows. Neil Fallon's always like trading out guitars. I don't want to hear about the awkward guitar switch thing.
Well, I'm sure they have. I don't know, roadies to do that. Mark, they have.
No, Neil Fallon.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they have everything ready to go, and there's somebody there that can plug in, plug out.
Yeah, they have their crews there to set up guitars that he can just swap on and swap off. But this bullshit about it's another awkward guitar swap, Marshall. Your whole set's a bunch of awkward guitar swaps. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, one of the things that he said was it was very Neil. He said that it was very awkward, in between songs because you don't have a crowd. And I remember at one point, I don't know which song it was.
So cut to a commercial or something. Tell a story. Have Dan Maines fucking throw drumsticks at people.
All right. So anyway,
that might be the bass player.
Yes. John Paul's the drummer.
No, Tim Salt was the drummer.
No, Tim Salt's the guitarist.
Ugh.
Remember the picture? Remember the video I showed you?
My wife got the biggest kick out of who's the drummer? Jean Paul. Jean Paul, because he looks like he's 70 years old.
The drummer?
Yeah. She was like, him and Neil are the same age, and they look 30 years apart.
Here, we'll definitely, let's make sure.
Neil Fallon's only 4 years older than I am.
Okay. Here you go, Mark.
Yes, sir.
Tim Salt, lead guitar. Dan Maines, bass. Jean-Paul Gaster, drums.
Yes.
Neil Fallon, vocals, rhythm guitar, harmonica, keyboards, percussion.
Right.
Straight from the wiki. Oh, you knew that. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. It was Tim Salt versus the Grays. Okay?
I remember. Skipping it.
Yes. Skipping it. Skipping what? You're skipping that song? You're not skipping Tim Salt versus the Grays because that.
Yeah, I am.
Doesn't Tight Like That run right into that? Now, see.
So I'll just go right to the acoustic one. That's better.
Okay. Anyway.
Also skipping Droid.
Anyway. So, number one, props to you, sir. 2 right in a row. Go Wrangler and King of Arizona.
Yes, sir.
Those were on your first list. Those were some primo picks, in my opinion. And of these 4, as we've been going on, we're in our third set of 4 songs. These, I guess, would be my favorite group of 4. Go Wrangler is a fucking awesome song. King of Arizona, which, by the way, hasn't been played since 2012. In the Wake of the Swollen Goat, another favorite of mine off of Blast Tyrant. And Your Lovin's Incarceration is something that I'm going to scream. I scream at. Actually, this group of 4, I really started to get wild at the house. I don't know about you. It was probably wild right as things first got off. But what would a Wookiee do? I'm sure just like the roof of your house exploded.
So I'm calling an audible.
Okay.
Because there's a song that I put on successive playlists that I put together, the ones I talked about before that may or may not have been entered. And because this album didn't get, this is my one fault against Marshall. God bless him. And
I knew this was going to happen, Marshall. Don't worry. Mark can't be too positive about something. So let's hear it.
I feel like the lack of inclusion of Jam Room takes him down a peg. Specifically, the following song, which should be on everyone's fucking Clutch playlist, is Big Fat Pig.
inside. I'm chasing the Freemason. What's your saying? I do not need Mr. Patrick. Orthodox Catholic is more knocking in your league.
Oh, Jesse, is you stupid or is you just high?
What? I know what album that's off of, but is that off of a different? Is that a different version of that song?
No, that's from Jam Room.
Maybe that. I remember him like when he would open the door and say, "Come inside." He said it a little bit differently there. I'll have to listen to it again. Anyway, let me just tell you about Jam Room. When I got Jam Room from the, I said I got Pitchfork in '99. That was not the case. It was Jam Room I got off of the internet. Anyway, when I got Jam Room off the internet, I got the CD. I'm listening to the CD. I'm listening. Who Wants to Rock hits. I'm like, oh great, hey, good. I'm getting in the groove. And then Big Fat Pig hits, and I was like, holy shit, this is some great stuff. Mm-hmm. That song, yeah.
I put that on a mix for a girl I was trying to get in the pants of.
Did you succeed?
No. I think in one case, the one girl had a boyfriend, and in another case, I gave her a phone number, and one of the numbers she misread. So when she didn't have a boyfriend and she wanted to contact me, she couldn't because she didn't have the right phone number.
Oh, now is that what she told you?
Yeah, that's the story she told me. Then by the time we saw each other again, this is girl number two. Girl number one. Girl number one who I made all these mixes for and everything. That got me nowhere. But the second girl got close, I guess. By the time we got back to school, she was like, she had already gotten either the same boyfriend they patched and made up or whatever.
Yeah.
Bitches be whores.
So my four, just real quick. Back to my sad playlist. So, I had 12-ounce epilogue of song 8. So these next four start out Shogun Named Marcus.
It would have been funny if you had said you had 12 inches of epilogue for you.
Yeah, it's the last thing you'll see at night. Cypress Grove.
Yes.
Sink 'em Low, which bam, 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 bam. One of my favorites. And Willie Nelson, which I think may possibly be my favorite song right now from these guys.
Well, he only smokes the finest weed.
Oh, man. I was really hoping that would make the playlist. The thing is that once the concert was over, they were replaying, I think, the pre-roll, which was pretty much Clutch videos. And, of course, Willie Nelson was played at that point. So that made me happy.
Oh, my God. Let me tell you how that pre-roll scared the shit out of my daughter.
Oh, the water commercial?
No, well, that.
Commercial
that was upsetting. But no, not Texan Book, A Quick Death in Texas.
Oh, yeah.
She was not into seeing Neil being hung.
Oh.
She was like, I don't like anything with death. She's 9, ladies and gentlemen. I don't like anything with death, and I don't like them hanging that guy, and this is all, why can't I go watch Bunked on my phone or some horse shit or whatever it is she wanted to do? I told her to shut up and sit there.
Shut up and sit down, kid.
Or put you in the fucking
Enjoy
backyard, tie you to a tree.
Parent of the year. So, yeah, Mark, I mean, hey, we're getting into the final two here.
Yeah,
and
well, if you were to see Clutch live, they do a 12-song set and then they do a 2-song encore.
You know that better than I do, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, I was expecting this to, if I was at a concert, I would expect this to go at least 2 hours.
Have you ever seen their pictures of their set list?
Yeah, I've seen the pictures. I've never studied them, though, so I guess you're probably right.
Yeah, so that's about right. All right, so here's their encore. It's Brazenhead and the beautiful state of Oregon.
This is what we're going to record. So I want you to participate just a little bit at the beginning. Maybe stop your hands a little bit. You can be on the record. All right, thank you. A little bit louder. 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 check the nexus. Take out the pain and shave off all the edges. Not straight enough to make a perfect structure. Indigenous life must be in agreement, like one meaning some and zero meaning nothing. Went up the back of Halifax, all the way to Virginia, Fairfax. It wasn't real enough, so I went west to Oregon. All I wonder while I run is what's next on my agenda.
All right. Any final thoughts from Mr. Marshall, who you've enjoyed having virtually on this show?
Yeah. So I said Oregon. You chose Oregon.
Why?
Well, you'll notice that Neil mentioned that when he was, to the merch booth, here's our shirt. The lizard, dragon on the shirt. It's so obvious to me that because this artwork's been there when we were doing set to set, this is the character that they're talking about in Oregon. So that's why he chose it. He says that he took the artwork for the event as a sign I had to put Oregon on there, which is a good one. I agree. I like Oregon. And a lot of stuff is currently happening there with the protests and all. I also thought it had to be last. He's kind of like the monster at the end of a movie. So I kind of inferred that to also mean that the set list that we're listening to here is what he put out there. I wanted to have the chance to ask him that before we hit the show, but I assume he chose Oregon as last, so I imagine the rest of the order of this set list is in the same order that he had it on there. But either way, Oregon, he said, had to be last, so that's why he put that on there. Oregon has not been played since 2014, so it's been 6 years since that's been played live.
Wow, I would not have guessed it was that soon.
Yeah. Brazen Head's a fun one. I know you were... Look, we're both Clutch fans, but we're not perfect Clutch fans, so, we were scrambling to try and figure out what album and what song we were listening to when Brazen Head was being played. I recognized it. I know you did as well, but for the life of us, we couldn't think of what the name of the song was. I had to go to Google Lyrics or wherever the hell and type in what was being sung.
Yeah.
Because I sung this song so many times. I knew the words, but I couldn't remember what it was called. Well, hence the fact, I don't think they say Brazen Head in the song at all. That's probably one big reason. But either way, Brazen Head is a great song to pick. I enjoyed that one. So yeah, for my final two on my playlist, just to kind of throw this out there, I had Tripping the Alarm, which was an instrumental. All right. Now, again, I was thinking, as Mark said, I gave a shit. I was thinking about the band. I was like, okay, at a concert, what would we see? And these final two, I honestly wanted these in the middle. I didn't want these at the end, but I was picking songs. So if they were specifically looking at my set going, okay, well, we can't have these two at the end, they fit more in the middle. That's where I intended them to be. Tripping the Alarm is an instrumental from, oh goodness, you just had the album in front. You were talking about the album a couple seconds ago.
Jammer?
Yeah.
Robot
Hive. Robot Hive. So
Robot
I
Hive
said,
Exodus.
Exactly. I was like, okay, well, we'll give Neil a break. They usually give Neil a break during the concerts.
Jean-Paul Dan Main's Darth Vader does as like a drum solo.
Okay, all right. So I was like, Tripping the Alarm would be a fun way to focus just solely on the band, and then we'll come back and we're going to kick some ass with Impetus.
Yeah, very good. If you go to see them in concert, they'll usually noodle in the middle of a set. Mm-hmm. And Neil Fallon will go off stage, jerk himself off, drink some liquid death, get a stretch going.
Well,
boy.
boy.
Then the three remaining band members, they just start noodling, and you can tell how long it's going to take by when the Undertaker starts his walk to the ring.
Oh, okay, all right. Then he catches fire, speeds up a little bit.
Yep.
All right. So, as far as the set goes, in my opinion, I really enjoyed it. Marshall did want to say that he wanted to share his immense gratitude, number one, to Clutch and to the fans. He said most of the people that he has talked to or reached out to him have said that been 99.9% supportive of what he chose as the set list.
I would love to hear the 1% that was just like, "Hey, douchebag."
What?
No soap makers.
You can't. I can't fault the set because number one.
No, I think Marshall did a good job. I'm more because of my personality. I'm more curious to hear from like the people who hated his set. They were like, "What? No Shogun named Marcus."
They there's not a slow one on here. I'm looking through here. If you can maybe count Oregon as maybe one of the slowest ones. Mm-hmm. But the rest of these are all kick ass.
I give him credit because like he didn't go. I mean, in even most of their modern set lists, if you look up the Dragonfly, the Yeti, Soap Makers, and the Elephant Riders, those all make appearances on modern playlists. Like those still get heavy play on any modern Clutch set list. And so I give him credit for staying away from that one, just to get some real oddballs on there. But also, like, he's got a couple from Slow Hold to China, which were the B-sides of the Elephant Riders album. Mm-hmm. Like, there was a lot. I remember when Slow Hold to China came out, they were like, yeah, this is shit that didn't make the Elephant Riders. Here we go.
Yeah.
So, or that was not going to make Pure Rock Fury. Mm-hmm. So I give him credit for picking. I give him credit for picking stuff from that era.
Yeah, but yeah, he also says that he believes this is a great community. The Clutch fans are great. I'll never forget. Anytime I see somebody with a Clutch shirt on, you say something to them. You have to
buy them a beer.
Well, if you can, yeah. If they're an underage kid in the middle of a Walmart parking lot, you just say, "Hey, nice shirt."
No, buy him a beer.
Okay, buy him a beer.
He has to have his first beer from somewhere. Might as well be another Clutch fan.
Okay. So anyway,
jokes.
Yeah. So I'm glad Marshall was gracious enough to actually talk to me. I'm sure he probably was like, "What the, who's this dude reaching out in the middle of nowhere?"
Like, you have a podcast. Woo!
Yeah, woo! Yeah, and I sure hope he didn't think that he's going to expect us to have like 1,000 listeners or 100. I'm just glad he took the time and kind of gave us the insight that went into his strategy to pick this set list. And again, like I said, kudos, man. Congratulations on number one winning. Congratulations on having one of the best bands in the world play a complete set that you chose. That is just amazing.
Congratulations, dude. High honor, in my opinion. I mean, we've had some fun on this show. I hope you understand that this is my sense of humor and my personality.
It took me about a year to get that, so Marshall might have a while.
But no, I thought it was cool to have the insight to how the playlist came together. Overall, I thought watching the concert was a lot of fun. Watching it with my family was fun. If you can't get out and get to a concert right now, and a bunch of mine got canceled this year and got postponed to next year, or canceled entirely, Guns N' Roses. It's still fun to get live music. Down's doing a show, I believe, August 28th or 29th. I know it's a day that I'm working. Yeah, it's the 28th. It's on a Friday, 6 o'clock. So if you can check out any of these virtual shows that have been going around, or you can do what I did for Crowbar, which is their tour got canceled, but they still had merch they would have sold on the show, and it's out there for you to buy a merch shirt from a concert that could not be. Support the artists that you love, so they'll still be there when crowds can come back. And that's my PSA. All right, next week on the Metal Hammer of Doom, Avatar Country.
All right.
Avatar, Hunter Gatherer, and then the week after that is Carcass, Torn Arteries. And then we're taking a week off to do some other stuff. In the meantime, Robert Winfrey and I stayed up late and watched the Kentucky Fried Movie, and then I recorded his live reaction. It was hilarious.
Did it get awkward?
He didn't react to tits the way that I thought he would.
Oh, okay. All right. It wasn't, oh my goodness.
I remember you laughed pretty hard at the Catholic high school girls in trouble bit.
Oh,
but,
yes.
But I expected him to be to clutch his pearls and fan himself. He was like, I am a male. it was like he really is Sheldon from The Big Bang Theory at times. He was like, I have normal genitals. Thank you.
Oh, that's great.
So that was fun. Tomorrow, one of your buddies, Cole Marentet, he's going to come on TV Party, and we're going to do Transformers War for Cybertron Siege. Next week, we got Chris Sheehan coming back. He's going to talk Avengers No Road Home with me. Alexis Haina, who asked for time off, and then all of our cons got canceled and is now begging to get back on the schedule. So she convinced me to watch Upload, which we'll talk about on the 18th. And then the aforementioned Avatar Country. We've also got Keep Your Hands Off Aizoken, comic strip for the Umbrella Academy, Volume 1 and Season 1. And we looked at Chapter 10 of our history of heavyweight boxing championships. We looked at the late, great Larry Holmes. So that's all the news that's fit to print. Jesse, anything else you want to plug?
Ooh, I don't have really anything going on right now. At some point, I will be making my way back as soon as things figure out what's going on there with the state of Ohio.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I assume when you say some point I'll be making my way back, it'll be January.
Man, we got started with this podcast like right as soon as we got on Skype. I could have went on for half an hour just about today. So, but yeah, at some point I will be coming back to my own show, Source Material, and talk some comics. Until then, I think Mark Radulich, Chris Sheehan, and all the other great guests that have been stepping in have been doing a fantastic job. So I can't thank you guys enough for just keeping the Source Material name alive for these few weeks and hopefully months now, going on months. And hopefully I'll be back soon. That's all I can say.
We do adequately, thank you. All right, for Jesse Starcher, for what was his dude's name again?
Marshall Snyder.
For Marshall Snyder, for the band Clutch, be well, be safe, and behave. Turn me up, Chuck!